There's two basic approaches to selling, inside versus outside. With inside selling, customer comes to you, which means that you don't necessarily have to travel, or at least not overnight travel. You get more supervision, not necessarily a good thing. You get more clerical support, and the transactions are generally lower value. And we'll talk about that in a second. And as a result, the pay is lower. Outside sales is where you go to the customer. Typically, travel is required. And if you're looking at a sales job, the key thing to look at is the number of nights per week or overnight nights per week that you're expected to travel. So if you have a job where you're expected to travel 4 nights, that means that you leave Monday morning, you get back Friday evening, and you spend the entire week on the road, and you do all of your relationship stuff that you want to do at home during the weekend. 3 nights a week, 2 nights a week, that's the expectation as to how much travel is involved. There's generally less supervision because it's expensive to send a supervisor with you. And it's higher value transactions. I mean, I'm not going to send somebody on a plane and fly them to New York to sell $500 worth of Kleenex. Okay, that's just not smart. But I will put somebody on a plane, fly them to New York to sell $1 million worth of software. And because of that, the pay is higher. I'm dealing with higher transactions, and it requires higher levels of skill. The last thing I want to talk about selling in career is this idea of team selling. And what team selling recognizes is there is the tradition of the lone wolf in selling, where the one person does it all. I got my recruiter or my customer development hat on, I got my closing hat on, I got my customer support hat on, I got my market research hat on, you name it, I can do it. Most people aren't good at everything. And what happens is when you're looking for one person who can have all of the skills that you need to be a successful sales operation, you're really limiting the pool of applicants. And by unbundling the sales process and recognizing the different tasks that salespeople are expected to do, and also looking at the needs of the customer, you can increase the pool of applicants because you might have somebody who's really good at meeting people. They call them rainmakers. It's just, you've met them at a party. He's the guy that knows everybody at the party. And those are great people for developing relationships, for creating customers, but they may not be the most analytical people in the world, or they may not be really good with the detail stuff. So you might have a situation where you'll have an outgoing person generating the leads, and then you might have another person, an analyst, that would come in once you've created the opportunity, who's good at the detail work, who's good at the analytical thinking. And then you might have another person do some of the follow-up work, maybe with phone, rather than having that one person go out and make the call. And the idea is by putting together a team, you increase your pool of applicants and you can get a stronger sales effort. And this is especially true in, again, business-to-business enterprise selling, where you have very long sales cycles, because another benefit of a sales team is you get continuity. If it takes 2 years to close a sale, somebody on the team might have left from the time we initiated contact with a customer till the sale, but there's other people on the team who remember what's going on, who have that relationship, and we might have relationships with multiple people within the organization, so that having more than one person holding that account allows for better continuity. The big issue with team selling is compensation. Who gets paid? And it's interesting. The fundamental attribution error suggests that we all overestimate our contribution to any process. So there's going to be a natural tension that people will overestimate the value that they contributed to the process, and then having to allocate, okay, well, you brought the customer in, but you did the analysis, but you're the one that noticed the problem that saved the account. How do we divvy up the commission? That's an issue. Okay.